For decades, the United States has been the world's dominant superpower, controlling global military strength, economic influence, and political affairs. But today, a major shift is happening. The US is losing its grip on global power, and a new world order is emerging. This isn't just speculation, the signs are everywhere. From economic struggles and rising competitors to technological revolutions and geopolitical instability, the world as we know it is transforming fast. And the biggest question is, who, or what, will take over? Let's break down how the US is falling behind, what forces are replacing it, and why this shift could redefine the global balance of power forever. Chapter 1. The US was once untouchable. What happened? To understand the present, we need to rewind to the past. After World War II, the US stood as the dominant global force. It had the strongest economy, the most advanced military, and a political system that influenced nations worldwide. By the time the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, the Soviet Union collapsed, and the US emerged as the sole superpower. America controlled a quarter of the world's total GDP, set global trade rules, and had unmatched military reach. So what went wrong? How did the US go from being the undisputed leader of the free world to struggling to maintain its influence? Chapter 2. The 3 key reasons the US is losing power. 1. Geopolitical and military failures. The US military is still the most powerful in the world, but that no longer guarantees global control. Russia's defiance. Despite being outmatched in almost every way, Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, exposing flaws in the US's ability to deter conflicts. Russia has suffered severe setbacks, but the invasion showed that the US isn't as dominant as it once was. China's territorial ambitions. The growing tensions over Taiwan show that China is willing to push back against US military influence in the Indo-Pacific. Countries like India, Japan, and Australia now rely on the US to keep China in check, but China is growing more independent and assertive. Pullback from global conflicts. The US has pulled forces out of the Middle East, failed to stabilize regions like Afghanistan, and has lost ground as an international enforcer. Two. Economic challenges and the rise of new competitors. The US still has the largest economy, but it is deeply tied to China, and both nations rely on each other for trade. China, India, and the EU are closing the gap, with some experts predicting China will overtake the US as the largest economy by 2035. The European Union sets global trade standards that the US must follow to access markets. India's rapid technological and economic growth is making it a future powerhouse that could challenge both China and the US. 3. The rise of big tech as a global power. Here's something that most people aren't prepared for. The next global superpower might not be a country at all. Tech companies like Google, Apple, and Meta control massive global economies, often rivaling or surpassing national GDPs. These companies influence elections, military operations, and even global conflicts, as seen with social media's role in revolutions and political uprisings. AI and digital dominance could become more powerful than military strength. If nations can't regulate these corporations, they may replace governments as the true global superpowers. Chapter 3. The future. What comes next? 1. A multipolar world order. instead of a single dominant superpower, we are shifting toward a multipolar world, where different regions control different aspects of global power. The US may still dominate military power, but China, India, the EU, and tech giants will control economic and digital spheres. The world may see several centers of power rather than one global leader. 2. The AI and digital superpower shift. The influence of AI-driven platforms means that corporations and technology may soon have more power than governments. Nations could lose sovereignty to AI and private sector control over digital infrastructure. If tech companies control communication, security, and economic power, they may become the new superpowers of the 21st century. 3. The end of US dominance? The US will remain a major player, but it may never be the sole global superpower again. Other nations and new digital forces will reshape the global order. The new world power might not be a country at all, it could be a network of AI-driven economies and corporate-controlled digital infrastructure. Who will take over? The world is rapidly changing, and while the US isn't out of the picture yet, it is no longer in full control of the global order. Nations like China, India, and the European Union are rising fast, and tech companies are becoming more powerful than ever. But the real question is, who will truly dominate the future? Will it be a nation, a tech empire, or something we haven't even imagined yet? Comment below, do you think the US will remain a global leader, or are we entering a completely new world order? Subscribe now for more insights on global power shifts, geopolitics, and the future of world dominance.